So we've wrapped up the movies. We're going to talk legacy here, everybody. And no, we're not going to talk about how this series affects LeBron's legacy. We're not going to touch that. That's a different subject for a different pod. That's on the Views channel. But we're going to talk about this legacy. Peter, I mean, of course, the legacy of the movies and books. I mean, the books for first and foremost. I mean, of course, they were starting to come out way before the movies, and then you had the movies. I just remember, and I remember seeing something on social media, and it's like they're exactly right. It was just like it was advertising for part two, and all it was just a poster of them all at the Battle of Hogwarts. Hogwarts looks like a mess, and it just says it all ends and has the date. That's all you needed. And that's when you know
Right.
you got something big and generational on your hands when you don't even need to say what the movie is. It's just like, this is it. This is the big one. You know, all hands on deck. This is the one you all have been waiting for. So it really speaks to the legacy of these movies, and quite generally, they've held up pretty well over the years. Now, of course, some of the CGI, some of the early CGI is a little bit wonky because that's early years, and then later years they get a little bit better, and you know some of it still kind of does look a little bit weird, but overall, I mean, as far as the legacy is concerned, I think they've all held up really well. The movies, I think the books, I mean, people keep on finding the books, people keep on reading the books to their kids. So, I mean, I think as far as legacy is concerned, it still holds up today, the movies, and you got people still reading the books, still discovering them.
Oh, I remember a year or two ago when the Hogwarts video game came out, like how it was a huge seller, and that was with the J.K. Rowling cancellation in the background. This thing
Yeah.
is a true media empire, and I realized that pretty hardcore. Of course, had friends in high school who were into it. My probably the best friend I had from Jeff Co was super into it. When we were at
Yeah.
SEMA, we obviously knew Kara, our editor, was really into it. I think it really didn't hit how big of a thing it was till I went to Universal for the first time in 19, and saw basically a entire section of the main store was just, oh yeah, here's all the Harry Potter stuff you can buy, and then how a whole land was based on it, and just, filled to the brim with people, all this special stuff. Like, oh, this is a thing. And then 2 years, no, sorry, 3 years later, when we finally went to Islands of Adventure and did the Hogwarts ride, how immersive the line itself was. All the talking things. We came to a point where there were people just stopped, and we were just like, oh, okay, I guess we're waiting. He's like, oh no, you guys can go along. We just want to see like we're here for all the details. Like that's pretty hardcore. Where the line is an attraction.
Yeah, I think I think you hit the nail right on the head. You really don't understand the scope until you go down to Universal and just see like this massive section just kind of off over here. And it's all dedicated to this world. You got like a real life Hogsmeade. You got a castle over there. It's like, man, I feel like you feel like you're in the world. You have all the different stores, the restaurants, you know, you have Ollivanders, Three Broomsticks, and there's butterbeer, which the butterbeer tastes fantastic. I understand why they drink a lot of it. It's really special. And like I'm looking at my wand that I got over there, and I was basic and I just got Harry's. So it was just like, you know, I probably should have not been as basic, but I've been fortunate to go over there twice, and it's just like, man, I'm still amazed that this thing exists. And it just does, like you said, it speaks to, you know, people finding out about just like how big it is by going to Universal, getting to ride all those rides that are woven in thematically with the movies, like you know, going back to the whole Gringotts thing with that ride, and then you got the ride inside Hogwarts, and you get a kind of tour of Hogwarts, which I mean, it's just the legacy of this thing is still going to hold true. It's still, building up years after. And you met Hogwarts Legacy. It's funny. We're talking about legacy. You got the name right there. You got legacy in the title. So it's just like you have a video game here. And I think there's a lot of IP in this. But again, you have this thing in the back of your head with J.K. Rowling and what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
So that might kind of be a prevention to maybe explore this world, because there's definitely IP that you can explore in this world. It's just like, what are you going to do? What timeline is it going to be? And also, like, is she involved or is she not? And, all the hoops surrounding that. So there's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a world there where Warner can see, like, we're trying to build this up. And they tried to do it with Fantastic Beasts. And, the first movie, pretty solid, pretty good, pretty fun. And, I think it came out in 2015. And so at that point, it was a few years since the last one. And then the second one came out in 2017 while we were at SEMO. And I remember uh it came out on like a Friday, but then I saw it was like it's actually out on Thursday or something like that. And I was like, oh snap. And I rushed to get a ticket, and me and a friend went and saw it. And then of course this most recent one was 2021 or something like that. I feel like I think it got pushed back due to the pandemic, but I felt like slowly like each one started to decrease, and like the fans like really like getting into it, and it really dealt a whole lot more with Dumbledore. And you got Jude Law as the young Dumbledore, which a lot of people were thirsting over. Because now you have him as the young hot Dumbledore is like, oh, okay. But the legacy is still going to go on. I think, as far as the books are concerned, people are still going to go and find the books and discover this world. And, it might just be through the movies. They see the movies and they want to go see, go read the books and read just like how much detail, much more detail you can put in a book than a movie, because you can. And also because you're in Harry's head for a majority of the time, you can really dive deep into those particular thoughts of like, okay, what is he thinking, with his introspection here. So the legacy is still going to go on. I did see there's going to be a sequel to Hogwarts Legacy, I believe. So we're going to have that. And we're going to have this TV series. And I guess
Mm-hmm.
that's a good little segue to that. The TV series. As somebody who's only seen the movies, how are you feeling about the TV series? Is it too soon to have a rehashing of this, or is it, we've had a little bit of separation, or, no, what's the idea here? How are you feeling about it?
It's interesting because typically when a film series is introduced, its TV is really non-existent or spin-off based. So to say like, okay, we're going to do this again, but in terms of longer form, which I'm much more come around the past couple of years, actually sitting down, and be like, okay, let's binge a show. How I am with Smallville right now. Uh, and with again, it's Warner, so they have the advantage of the machine that is HBO, so the quality will be pretty good. The great thing about HBO is they give a lot of notes on the pilot, but once you get to the series, they pretty much let you go full reign. So if you get passionate people there and like can just obviously sign these actors and actresses on that long term, because I would imagine each book is a season.
Yeah.
That's your next Game of Thrones, and it's an interesting one because it's your family friendly Game of Thrones. So you'll have all the millennials who have aged with it. You'll have a new generation, and they can pass on to the kids. Like, yeah, it is it's the ultimate money machine. Because I think the
Yeah.
reason, again, I haven't seen the Fantastic Beasts movies, but my thought would be, okay, you've named it Harry Potter. You've kind of built the franchise around this one kid. Sure, there's a universe of lore you've also done, but you've kind of pigeoned yourself into, okay, how does this affect Harry Potter's legacy? More so than LeBron's.
And you know what? It's a fair comparison because I think Harry's kind of like LeBron in Quidditch. Well, hold on, that might be Victor Crumb. I think that might be Crumb, but Harry is close second. So I mean, that's an apt comparison. But yeah, I feel like you kind of pigeonhole yourself into like it being just like this, this series. Now, somebody who's read the books and had some time with this news. I mean, who knows when this series is going to come out? It might come out next year or 2026. So if you're basing it off of it's coming out 2026 timeline, then that means at that point you're going to be 15 years out from part two.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it just feel I wonder, there's probably going to be a lot of people like, who do we really need this when it's a rehashing and we just had it, even though at that point it'd be a decade and a half ago. It's like it feels still a little bit too early to have it. And I'm thinking about, you got the Percy Jackson series on Disney Plus, and I'm kind of thinking about that. I'm thinking about as far as what the movies did, as far as the actors. I don't know if you can replicate all of that because I think we talked about in the first part, that's like truly lightning in a bottle, getting all that talent from Britain together and just like it keep on going for about a decade. And it worked. You didn't have anything really bad happen with any of the cast members. Everything was smooth sailing. And you did it. You completed a saga that for 10 years that really hasn't been seen by anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking when it comes to who is cast in these movies, I'm thinking first and foremost about the kids because
Right.
that's going to be the thing there. Because I think, you're going to have a lot of people like, well, that's, take a look at who's Harry or who's Hermione or who's Ron. And like, well, I don't know about that. So I look at the casting and like, I'm already going to feel sorry for those kids when they get casted because there's inevitably going to
Oh,
be some people that will not be in favor of that. And so it's like,
I,
buckle up because, Emma, Rupert, and Daniel, they were in this age of social media that we're in. So they didn't have to deal with all
right.
that.
That was the point I was about to bring up. Like even if it is truly just like 50 or so stupid people,
Yeah.
50 or so stupid people can make themselves feel really loud and obnoxious on social media and trick a bunch of people who otherwise would be indifferent to be like, oh, I want to join the hate machine. So it just becomes,
Yeah.
a that dumping ground. Also, what interests me is, how slow everything is now just to make. I mean, Endgame was 2019 and the next Avengers movie is 2026. That math is 7 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In 7 years we had Avengers Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and Endgame. It's get ridiculous. And my big thing now is, what if in doing this you find the next Millie Bobby Brown? She's doing a lot of
Yeah.
good stuff with acting outside Stranger Things, as that show takes forever to make now. So you're going to be on, it's going to be TikTok here. Can you lock down that many people for 7 years straight? That's going to be a borderline miracle to perform.
Yeah. It really is. And just, you think about locking down, if you're going to get that top talent in here, then and that's going to be another thing too. Like, do they want to be locked down for that amount of time? That's going to be
Because
the other thing.
each season's probably going to take 6 to 8 months to complete, where a movie
Yeah,
typically 4 months.
yeah, and with the kids especially, you got to get going, going, going.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I have a feeling like they did a pretty decent job of making it feel like year by year with the movies. But with the shows, like you said, it's a little bit of a longer process, and so you're gonna really have to hammer it home, like, hey, we're going to be filming every year now. So, and for some of the older actors, it might just come in for like a couple weeks, but for the kids, it's going to
Mhm.
be a little bit longer to try to get them, because they're going to be kids, and like I know there's certain restrictions on how long kids can work in with TV and film, so that's
Mhm.
going to be another situation to navigate. Now, as far as it feels like yes, the books are going to be one season each, and it's probably going to be like what 7, 8, 9 episodes, maybe 10, something like that. It's going to be a long series. Um, so as far as as we talked about the movies, what do you think about as far as the books? Which season would you be most looking forward to out of all seven of the books? Because we got 7 seasons of this thing. I have a feeling, I know where a lot of Potterheads would go with this. What season would you be most excited to see translated on to TV and seeing how it plays out with a longer format?
Might be a hot take, but Goblet of Fire would interest me because that's your best chance, like really explore the extended universe. Because you bring two whole schools in, so maybe you can show like have an
Yeah,
episode dedicated, like, hey, here's how it's got here, and just maybe a little more how the world is working. Because by then we're gonna get the Voldemort reveal, so stuff is clearly ticking. I think that would be a one of a lot of upside. Now,
yeah.
the obvious answer is, of course, Prisoner of Azkaban, because you can do so much more. But I think Goblet really buys you some excuse to get away from everything.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing I don't think I think actually that's a really good take with Goblet of Fire. I think that's one of the films I think that came to mind. Is like I think people would love to see this type of season, see it kind of expand out with all the characters that you bring in to this world. Because it feels like at Goblet, it feels like it's a boiling point with everything you're bringing in at that point, and you can do a whole lot more with that. I kind of feel similarly to Half Blood Prince, and
Mm.
just seeing like all the whole Tom Riddle explanation, diving into his backstory a little bit, way more than we did in the movie. So I feel like Goblin and Half Blood Prince are probably up there with the 2 seasons I think people would be most exciting to see translate because of the time you would be dedicating to those books. And I feel like Azkaban is definitely
Mm.
one of those as well. But I think, Azkaban is a lot of people's favorite movie. So I think to them, they're just
Right.
like, it's probably lower on the totem pole. I also imagine Chamber and Sorcerers are probably lower.
Mm.
But I think people just really want to see what can you do with a full season dedicated to those latter books where there's just so much stuff in there. So I don't think that's a hot take. I think Goblet, I think you're bang on with that. I think people would want to see that. I think you're right on there. I think Order could be an interesting one because, of course,
Mm.
you could dive into more of like why is Harry this way. You probably get a little bit more angsty Harry, which people might not want to see, because of the books. But um, I think it could be an interesting one to dive in a little bit more there. Um, so I don't know. I think Order would be up there. Goblet's definitely up there. Hallows would be up there because Hallows you can dive a little bit more into all the stuff that we just talked
Mm.
about. So I think that as far as a TV show, we'll have to see when it comes out. I'm already seeing casting rumors. I'm already seeing like, well, who's going to play Dumbledore? And so I'm really curious to see how this unfolds. I want to see the casting choices, and again, I can't I can't wait for what we're going to hear about that with all these fans. But it should be interesting, and I think there we can kind of cut it off and um go from legacy. Let's sort you into a house, Peter. Let's sort you into a house. Let's do it.
Yeah. Need some. Hold on. Need some sort of hat. Let's go White Sox. Apparently, that was the one at the top. It's not gonna work with the. Yeah. This is what curse will it give me? Okay. I am using the BuzzFeed one, as I think I said at the top, because I was too lazy to make a Pottermore account. but it's my lucky number 17 questions, so let's get into it. All right. You have made it to Hogwarts, which means you've already bought a wand from Ollivander's. What material is at its core? Phoenix feather, dragon heartstring, or unicorn hair? I forget what each one does. I could ask Ryan, but I see the word dragon, so we're going to go there. That seems straightforward enough because dragons are cool. Number two, during the end of year exams, you noticed that one of your classmates was using an enchanted quill. You come top of the class anyway, but they are second. What do you do? Me, top of class. What a joke. Tell the professor immediately cheating is wrong no matter what. Nothing. But if I hadn't come top of the class, I'd definitely tell the professor. Encourage the other student to admit what they've done to the professor. Give them a high five for managing to sneak a quill into the exam. Scumbag in me says give them a high five because that's funny. I'm on the nothing side, but I don't need that whole if I hadn't come in top yada yada. It's like no, that ain't me. Number three, you would be most hurt if a person called you weak, ignorant, unkind, or boring. I mean, all four are probably true, but ignorant. I read. I read the
uh,
news. I know what's going on. You're locked in a duel with a skilled opponent. They fire an unknown spell at you, and you shout, "Oh, here we go!" Expelloramus, Practigo, Stupefy, Crucio. I think Crucio is the it's like a deaf one, right?
it's
All
one of
right,
the
there we go.
unforgivable. Yeah.
There we go.
Well, hey, you got 2 out of 4 right.
It's your fifth year. It's your fifth year at Hogwarts, and you've just received a howler from your parents. What for? Sneaking into the Forbidden Forest at night on a dare, getting caught cheating in my divination. Ow! Being put in detention after I was caught in the library after hours. Nerd. Nothing. I never do anything to warrant a holler. A bit of a loser, so probably nothing. But for this, I'm gonna say sneak into the Forbidding Forest on a dare. That seems like me. Those either could work, but we'll go with the cool points.
Yeah, there we go.
Which of these Dumbledore quotations speaks to you? Pity the living, and above all, those who live without love. Words are, in my not so humble opinion, our most indistinguishable source of magic. It matters not what somebody is born, but what they grow to be. It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. That one's Yoda-esque, so maybe that one. Uh, I don't know. It matters not what someone is born. That's kind of speaking to me. That feels philosophically.
Yeah.
I forgot the count. So here we are, wherever this one is. If you're tracking it home, which of these most accurately describes your relationship with your closest friends? I love surrounding myself with people. The more friends I have, the better. I have few very close friends that I would trust in my life. I tend to be wary of new people, so don't make new friends often. I find myself becoming friends with people who can help me succeed. Probably in the few one, especially post high school and college. So that's a truthful one. No new joke there.
Yeah.
Which of your skills are you most proud of? My ability to absorb new information, my ability to make new friends, my ability to get what I want, my ability to keep secrets. I'm stupid, so I can't make information. I'm socially awkward, so friends aren't really there. Ability to get what I want, lol. Let's go secret. Yeah, I'm good with secrets. I don't tell people stuff because I don't talk to people, so it's easy.
There you go.
My first Quidditch match of the season is approaching, and you can't wait to get involved. What role are you playing? Seeker, I want the glory. Chaser, I like to be involved and work as part of a team. Beater, I like having that power. I'll be in the crowd making sure, yeah, I'm in the crowd. You ain't putting me on that field. Gonna kill myself. Oh, you're allowed to pet at Hogwarts an owl, a cat, or a toad. What do you bring? Nothing is also an answer because I can't be trusted to look after a pet. Let's be real. If I'm in this universe, owls are swag, so I'm definitely taking the owl. Cat would be cool, but owl is more, so feels right on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Saturday. You finish your homework and you have some free time. You decide to spend some time away from your commons room. Where do you go? Bold of you to assume I finish homework on Saturdays in any part of my education career, but okay. The Forbidden Forest, the library, the kitchens, the room of requirement. Room of requirement. Let's go crazy here.
Yeah, that's go fun. Yeah.
What would you see in the mirror of Icerid?
Erised. There we
Urside?
go.
Erised. There we
It's
go.
fun fact. It's Azire spelled backwards.
Of course. What do I see? Myself surrounded by riches, myself surrounded by my loving family and friends, myself knowledgeable above all, myself experience a marvelous riches. Get out of here. let, let, let's not kid ourselves. I'm selfish. I feel like a theme's coming. I feel like we know the answer. Which of these magical events would you most like to experience? The Tri-Wizard Tournament, Quidditch World Cup, Yule Ball, or Christmas at Hogwarts? I'm a Christmas guy, so any holiday at Hogwarts looks swag. So yeah,
Yeah.
Christmas seems to be lit.
Yeah.
You're having trouble mastering a new spell and you decide to ask for help. Who do you go to? My professor, of course. My house ghost, my smartest friend, the library. I've figured out myself. That's not happening. I can't read. Mm, see, I feel like you got to assign me the house before I tell you what professor. House ghost seems fun.
Yeah.
Choose a deathly hollow, the Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, the Cloak of Invisibility. Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Elder Wand is power. Resurrection Stone is come back to life. Invisibility Cloak is obviously invisibility. I don't know. I feel like the Resurrection Stone would be more trusting of me. I feel like
Well,
I couldn't control the power. Invisibility could cause some chaos, which would be fun. But if I get into super trouble, well, get a do-over. I mean, look at Hogwarts. You could die at any moment. Which path do you intend to follow after leaving Hogwarts? I joined the ministry. I want to make a difference in the world. Get out of here. I think I'd travel for a while before committing to a career. I'd settle down and start a family as soon as possible. I continue to work hard in order to achieve as much success as possible. Travel. That's the most Peter Lewis. Oh boy. And finally, we know that the Sorting Hat takes into account your preferences. So, which Hogwarts house do you feel you identify with closely? Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin. There's no option for not rigging the contest. Uh, I feel like Ravenclaw is the one who actually will get a Gryffindor. To me, screams you've peaked in high school and are an obnoxious fear kid. Hufflepuff are clearly the stoners, which is cool. Slytherin are the preps. Ravenclaw seems like the nerds. So I probably end up in there. And with that, Ryan, what do you think it's going to be?
Ooh. I think you're gonna get your wish. I think Ravenclaw. And adding Ryan, insert drum roll here, please.
It was Slytherin, 33%,
Oh.
25 for Gryffindor, 23 Ravenclaw, and 19 for Hufflepuff. I feel like that's. I feel like get out of here, White Sox. You suck. Let's be real. In terms of the pod history, that's probably the most the most likely outcome.
Yeah, I think if there's people listening to this that have listened throughout the years, like, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Slytherin is chaos, so there we go.
And hey, listen, there are some decent wizards in Slytherin. Not everyone is bad. I mean, Snape wasn't fully bad. Slughorn was a pretty chill dude. You know, there's some decent ones in there. So,
Oh,
Slytherin.
here we are. You are relentless in your pursuit of success, making you a perfect fit for Slytherin, but your willingness to take risks make you somewhat compatible with the traits of a Gryffindor house. That's fair enough.
All right, Slytherin. There it is.
throw me in the dungeon, fam.
Well, and listen, I guess next time you go to Universal, I guess you know which house colors you're looking for now.
Exactly. I can finally buy something from those stores because I know what I'm doing.
Yep, there you go. All right, everybody. So Peter is now sorted. He's a Slytherin, and Rebecca, I think, is a Hufflepuff. I'm a Hufflepuff. So I don't know what Matt is. So yeah, three out of us are sorted, and three of us are in Hufflepuff. So everybody, that's it. We made it through all 8 movies, talked legacy, did the sorting, and now here we are at the end of part 3. Peter, again, this was kind of your idea that we kind of had this jump point. So this was fun to do, man. This is really fun to do. I'm glad you put this in the group chat and it became an idea, and now here we are at the end of part 3.
Be happy I couldn't go on vacation in June because of a stupid sickness. And I was like, well, what have I done? Because literally what happened was I never saw the Caribbean movie, but that's become my favorite ride at Disney. So I was like, I'm gonna give these a go. And I was like, oh, that was fun. You know what? I like the Harry Potter rides at Universal, so let's see how those movies work. I don't remember them that well.
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody, that will do it for this edition of the Entertainment from the 573. That will do it for this Harry Potter podcast series. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on the podcast, on YouTube. We greatly appreciate it, and we have fun with these. These have been a whole lot of fun, and it's been fun to talk about one of the things that, besides Marvel, that really I grew to love. And honestly, I grew to love around this, Marvel, and Tennessee football pretty much around the same time. So it's like wham, wham, wham. Here we go. And only, well, one of those has let me down here for a decade and a half, watching them right now. And Marvel has been up and down, but here's Potter, and of course you've had all the controversial stuff. But other than that, it's been a fun ride, and I can't believe we finally got to talk about it, and we had a lot of fun talking about it. So everybody, thanks for tuning in. As always, hope you guys have a good rest of your day wherever you are. Hope you guys stay safe and all that good stuff. And until next time, we will talk to you very soon.